Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to another week, another edition here of the Convergence Cup. Convergence Cup number 30, your bi-weekly dose of Brazilian StarCraft. I'm of course your site VIP, with you enjoyed by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Bienvenidos. We have returned here with some Brazilian StarCraft. It's been a while. I do apologize for us putting this on the backlog, but finally we can start to catch up on some of these other tournaments like Convergence Cup and like StarCraft Evolution as well. We should be able to catch up, should be able to divulge into some Latin American StarCraft. Of course, there's also some big news going on at the moment, and if you haven't heard, but the new patch has been announced. I was made aware that a patch was coming a couple of weeks ago. Didn't know when it was going to be, didn't know what was going to be in it either, but was made aware nonetheless. And yeah, it's finally here. We most likely are going to be having an impromptu podcast later on tonight. That'll be the plan to have the podcast and to discuss the changes, because this is some pretty big changes, papi. Likewise, we'll most likely be hosting our tournaments on the PTR in the near future as well. So the Tuna Cups, the MSOs, the SDOs, most likely. The one downside of hosting everything on the PTR is I believe the PTR is only one server. It might be two, but I have to double check, but I think it's like one or two servers, so it does mean that players are going to be playing on a higher ping than usual. So that is going to be a bit of a shame, but I do think it's going to be worth it though. Like, I think everything on the PTR would make the most sense, just because it's pretty big changes and big sweeping changes, and I feel like the most amount of events held on the PTR, the better, just so we can provide feedback, assuming that they will take feedback into consideration, of course. Yeah, big news. But we'll be discussing that a little bit later on in the future, later on tonight, I should say. So think around like 10-ish hours time. We'll go over the passionates, but otherwise we have our tournament here. We have Convergence Cup. We're going to be jumping into the semi-finals. Here we go. So the plan here is semi-finals into grand finals into the Kung Fu Cup. For those who remember, I didn't get to finish our coverage of Kung Fu Cup number 7 just because my voice was dying at the time, and mid-finals we had to end the stream. That was last week, if you remember, if not the beginning of this week. It was last week, so I wasn't able to finish Convergence Cup, so we are going to be, because today's broadcast should be a little bit shorter, we're going to be hosting the rest of those finals here after the finals of Convergence Cup. That'll be the plan. That'll be the plan. We're going to be jumping in mid-series into Beyond versus Hero. That'll be later on in the broadcast. But now, though, we're going to be jumping into INexorable versus Papito. TBT. Let's go, Papi, let's go. For those who are unaware, Papito, he is a Brazilian Terran player that has been rising through the ranks as of late. He's been more active in tournaments, and he's been looking quite impressive as well. Still, there's a bit of a gap between, say, Papito and Kamikaze and INexorable and Yan, for example. But really cool to see him competing on a more regular basis. Always a spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline. We have the blue Terran player. We have the blue Terran, the Brazilian Terran representing Insane Master Killers. It is INexorable. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the red Terran representing Host Gaming. It is Papito. Papito. Let's go. So I'm just lagging a little bit, but here we go. We're jumping into our series, jumping into our best of 3. Papito, not quite a papi, of course, but Papito nonetheless. So basically the same thing. for those who are unaware with the Latin American language, with Spanish, or I guess Brazilian in this case, Portuguese, typically when you add ito at the end, it's like a cute way of saying it. So, like, you know, instead of Juan, what do we say? We say Juanito, baby, Juanito, for special, for example. Or whenever I call Vindicta, whenever I talk to him, instead of calling Miguel, I call him Miguelito. So here, instead of Papi, it's Papito. It's like a cute, endearing way of saying the word. Typically, you'd say that to like someone younger than you, or to like a kid or something. Say Papito. There you go. It reminds me of, say, I don't know, like the equivalent of I'm thinking of in StarCraft terms is what I guess. Like I could like baby marine, like like young zest, you know. What else? I think there's another example. Baby marine, young zest, DRG ling, I guess. Yeah, sure. It's like a younger way of saying it, if that makes sense. But here we go. Here we go. For now, we are going to be moving out. So we do have our initial Reaper moving out across the map. Again, we do have a mirrored build so far. We do have a double gas opener, faster factory into a delayed CC. Meanwhile, INexorable gets across the map with his Reaper. Papito does the same. Again, mirrored builds. Mirrored builds. Both CCs are going to be delayed. Both players will lose their workers. Meanwhile, we do see Papito moving further in. Ooh, he does KDA charge. Does shoot first. And does take down the Reaper as well. Very nice start here from Papito. Takes out 1, 2 SCVs and the Reaper as well. That should not have happened. That should not have happened here. So INexorable, he does have some miscontrol. He did move command his Reaper to the low ground, so he got shot first. He will eventually clean this up, but the damage has been done, and this is still a better trade, a better fight for Papito. True. Better fight. And with that, Papito, he does back up, does pull back. We have our initial 1-1-1. And we do veer off here. It looks like a slightly faster starport here from our Terran player into his own Tech Lab follow-up. This can lead into Banshee play, can lead into Raven play. Raven is very standard in TVT, as INexorable does actually get the second SCV. Okay. We're equalizing when it comes to losses. You can see 2-1, 2-1, 2 SCVs, 1 Reaper a piece. But again, this still impacted INexorable that much more. And we catch up the Hellions as well. Very nice. And Hellions getting caught. As both should go down. Oh, actually, the Reaper will distract the initial army here into the main base. And we're getting a little bit out of hand here. 5 SCV kills. Oh my god. 5, 6. 6 SCVs going down. This should not have happened. Once again, some brutal damage to the main. We're getting messy. We're getting messy at this point. Papito having a late reaction into his own main expansion. And with that, INexorable will take a worker lead. It does take an economic lead here behind this, getting to his own standard follow-up, his own Cyclone, his own Raven production. Likewise, we have a Raven on the way for Papito as well, eventually to his own upgrade of choice into into Interference Matrix. We'll eventually get there. As we're still just moving into each other's faces. We're still just pushing, man. Yeah. Okay. That's from here we get locked on a couple Marines. Does focus down 1, 2. We can throw down an order charge. We're holding on to it for now. We're holding on to the charge. 1 SCV gets picked up. Slacker does get locked on the tank, and the lock-on is broken. Ooh, and INexorable he will hold. He does hold on here. A bit of a messy engage both ways. They do end up trading Cyclone for Cyclone, but in the end, INexorable he does hold on here. He does defend his natural, and with that, he can slowly build up. Likewise, Papito working on his own 3rd CC, and he's still pushing, by the way. Oh my god. Papito has been hyper aggressive this game, just non-stop moving out across the map with his Reapers, with his Hellions, with his Cyclones, now with his tank as well. There is a bit of a slip up here, and that is, yeah, a very late upgrade here for Papito. Very late Interference Matrix. That is a concern. And meanwhile, this tank is on the turn. We have auto charts. We're coming in. Disables. It does disable. Lock it on the tank. Tank goes down. Massive pickup. Ravens do get low here, but they get away, and with that, INexorable has a much cleaner cleanup here. He will lose 3 SCVs, and his gas is going to be delayed, but he gets a tank. That is a better trade for the Blue Terran. Much better trade. And with that, INexorable, he does shut this down. He defends, he takes a lead. He already had the greater economy, and now coming into a greater army as well. And it's going to be a tough hold. It's going to be a very difficult hold here for Papito. He does have his Ravens, and that will help when it comes to the counter disables. But the lower tank count here, it's going to be still quite difficult to defend, even if he does disable every single tank. There are 2 tanks pushing out. There are 2 disables available. But the Vikings, their goal here is to zone away. And there aren't many Marines to support. Yeah, we're just moving in. We're moving in. Here they come. The Vikings, they just land. Yeah, they just up to go to the land. They focus on one, and they should get both tanks. It's quite close. Micro's back the tank. Gets us up the final one. Oof. Yeah, breaks through the main army. Still a very close and still a very messy fight just because we're working with so few units. Ravens, they kept alive. But the INexorable doesn't have enough. You can see he's trying to bait the Marines into tank range. Very cheeky. And he's trying to bait him in. Speaking of, risky to do this without the Raven. Calm down. Be careful. Yeah, they'll spend his shots here on the Ravens. Yeah, tanks, they did unsiege a little bit prematurely. They were assuming it was going to be disabled. Yeah, with that INexorable, he will win this fight. Takes down all the Vikings. Now he can hunt down the Ravens as well. He's moving in. The boys are being pulled. Yeah, the boys are being pulled. The final move here for papito. Oh my god, massive tank shots. All the SCVs go down. 15 SCV kills. Vikings able to land. And with that, INexorable is done. He is done. He has broken the natural. Again, a very intense back and forth here, and it just came down to the wide right handful of units. As you can see, we have one tank, we have one Viking, but he kills the entire middle line. 15 SCV kills with this behind this INexorable. He's got a third. He's got a third base fully operational, fully up and running. Yes, the papito. There's not much behind this. He's working on stim, building up his production, but he can't actually make he can't even make use of his production. He can't spend all of his money. He can't make everything. Too much, baby, too much. And now we're just calming down. Again, it makes sense just because the INexorable has so little to work with as well. But his third is going to kick in. Now he's getting a fourth base on location, and INexorable is going to be the first to build up his army and to go for another push. Should be. Now, other ways to recover here for papito, it's going to be very difficult against a player of the caliber of skill of INexorable, but there are worlds where we can go for, say, drop play, or counterattacks. Like, if we can somehow get into the bases like this with the Liberator or with Viking Harass, then papito could recover, but this is being done to papito and not from him, so as we're getting 8 SCV kills. Vikings, they land, they deal their damage, they pick up, they pull away. And here comes the final desperation move here from papito, moving out with his double drop. Once again, there is potential with this. I believe stim is done. Stim is complete. Papito moves out. And so does INexorable. There are Vikings on patrol, so that's... Actually, we're going for the earlier unload. Okay, making our way towards the third. Both players are going to hit each other's third bases. Maybe this stemming in. INexorable setting up his tanks. And he gets into the middle line. He tries to. INexorable does pull away. He has reinforcements. Yeah, he has reinforcements back at home. Even upgrades. And the army was already pre-stimmed, and with that INexorable, he does clean up. Yeah, he shuts down the main army. Shuts down the double drop. Goes for his own into the main. Papito, he has no supply to defend. He just cannot defend the main base. He's denied the third, and now he's trying to... He's down to the natural. Down to one base. One base mining. Denies combat shields. He denies it. No. Someone picks up, pulls away. Behind this puppy, the horse will expand to the third location. Again, still down in workers, still trying to hold on here. And there's a world where if he can have all his tanks in position, then maybe he can take a fight. But INexorable, he's just walking in. Yeah, he's just walking in. He can siege up outside the natural base, just cut off the third from the natural, or just head straight in. And he goes for it. And tanks will lead the siege. INexorable sims in. He gets 1, 2, he gets all 3 tanks. GG gets called, and INexorable, you will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, INexorable, I mean, I will say that the early game was a little bit shaky from both players, and Papito at some moments had better trades than INexorable, but that was until we saw INexorable go into the main with his Reapers, right? He went for a split push. He had the Reapers in the main base, he had distraction at the natural, he was able to get 6 SCV kills, 6 SCV kills, and from that moment, he just took a massive lead, and the board just kept rolling from there, and more damage and more damage. Papito fell further and further behind, was overly aggressive as well. GG. GG, well played. And with that, INexorable does take lead in the series. Now we're going to be loading into game number 2. Going to be loading into the Old Republic. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the top right hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the blue Terran player, the Brazilian Terran, representing Insane Master Killers. It is INexorable. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Terran player, the Brazilian Terran, representing Host Masters. It is Papito. Este Papito. Let's go. Let us go. We're getting into game number 2 here. And again, we'll see how our players do delve into the mid game or into the early game. Last game we had mirrored builds, and again we had Papito have faster reactions, get a better trade early on, and have a slight lead in the very early beginnings of the game. Eventually did lose that lead, but again he had the better start. We'll see if we can replicate that success or take us in a different direction. Already no proxies, no shenanigans. Welcome to the Old Republic. The Old Republic is a decently sized map, that is true, but does have more open third bases, more open fourth bases. What we would typically expect in high level TVT would be for both players to open up standard, then towards their third bases, and for one player to have momentum will be the aggressor, and then push and delay the other's third expansion, or maybe even kill. But we did see that that Papito was very aggressive last game, moving out with whatever he had, whether it was with Hellions, Reapers, Cyclones, even his first tank he went for an early push. On Tourmaline, you can make an argument that it's okay to do that just because the map is so small, but on a larger map like the Old Republic, I would hope that we don't see that from Papito. Like we gotta look after our boys, Papi. We gotta look after our units. We can't just throw them away that early on, otherwise everything just snowballs out of control. So we'll see. We'll see how Papito will adjust his approach. So far, once again, double gas at faster factory. Same can be said for INexorable. So far, mirrored builds, everything's looking as it should. INexorable does go for an SCV scout, looking for proxies here on the top side. Don't blame him. Technically, this means that Papito has a slightly better economy, as he has one SCV that is not scouting. Meanwhile, INexorable does. Reaper does move out across the map, and ooh, he spends a shot. Yeah, he does spend the first shot here on the SCV. INexorable does give chase. Papito thankfully does pull away, but he will miss the Reaper. He catches who? Oh, okay, Papito once again has the better trade over the Reaper. I shouldn't be able to catch the Reaper though. We'll be able to race back home and make it back. As both players are expanding. Again, slightly better trade here for Papito, but the Reapers will regenerate their HP. We'll regen. Behind this we have Reaper Hellion out of INexorable. It's 2 Reapers and 1 Hellion. And we can see that Papito, I believe, is making another Reaper. Yeah, he's going up to 3. He's going up to 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. This is a bigger commitment out of our red Terran player. The blue Terran is already transitioning into Cyclones. We're already switching out. So there's going to be a small window in time where Papito has a greater ground army compared to INexorable. That's only until the Cyclone arrives. Once the Cyclone pops out, then we do lean more in favor of the blue Terran player. Typically. There's a world where we can maybe dive on the Cyclone, focus it down, and then overwhelm. But it is going to be difficult. As Papito is pushing. Oh. Here we coming from behind. Does get a shot from the Hellion. Hellion goes down, Reaper as well. Diving into the Cyclone again, just a really nice angle of attack here for Papito. But the match repairs. Do we keep the Cyclone alive? We do. And match repair on the Cyclone. Ooh, cleans up everything. And INexorable, he does hold on. It was a very clutch hold. I do think that if the army had come in from behind as we saw, and if we had gone straight for the Cyclone instead of the Hellion, I do think that would have been a better, more valuable target. Unfortunately, in the end, the Cyclone survived. I was the backbone of the defense there, and INexorable does hold. Behind this reactor Viking, wait, what? What's going on? Back at home, we're going for a faster third TC, so is INexorable, but we're going for very early reactor Viking. That's a little bit odd here. So reactor Viking plus Marauder production as well. This is quite gas intensive here, what we're building. Stim, Marauder production, tanks, Vikings. You typically would not get Vikings this early on unless you wanted to go for an all-in. Back at home in INexorable, he's getting his Ravens, he's getting more units that gain more value over time. First tank is going to go down. Oh, hop, very nice pickup. A papito. Saves the tank, breaks the lock on. But again, a very messy start here. As INexorable actually went to Banshee first, then into Raven. Dips into the main. Getting into 5 SCV kills, 6 SCVs even, almost 7. 6 workers going down, delaying the third TC. And behind this, we're just getting to a standard bio setup. Now, one of the reasons why this is a little bit weird here is, one, the early sim timing. You're not going to have many Marines, right? Or not going to have many units whatsoever. Because you're not going to reactor to Marine production, because you're going straight into Stim, how many Marines are there? How many bio units are there actually? There's 1 Marine and 1 Marauder. This is it. This is the bio army. So why are we getting into Stim so quickly when there's nothing to take advantage of, right? So again, just really early Stim, there's not really much value to it. Meanwhile, we do have the early Viking tank. Like, this does make more sense, but this makes more sense for an all-in. Does get across the map, will delay the third base, that is true. Does delay the third. So do focus on a couple of SCVs, not bad. 1, 2 SCV kills at the same time. Here comes INexorable. He breaks out. He throws down the mass auto turrets. Turrets are thrown down. It does get 1 tank. Can he get the other though? It's getting messy. Yeah, it's getting very messy here. The tank shot's gonna be going up. Papito. Oh my god. That's Papito. He's barely cleaned up here. It was a messy fight, a messy engage. Papito, he's down to 1 tank. Down to 1. Oh, the starter stepping. Oh no, no high vision. No, he has no vision. The tank was on the ramp. Did not actually get to see the tanks of INexorable. He couldn't see, Pappy. He couldn't see. And with that, INexorable does take the better fights. Now claiming his third. Papito, his own third base, is a little bit later here, but will soon be landed on location, I'm sure. Shoot all those SCVs going down. I mean, the upgrades, sorry, the economies are quite close. Once the base lands. Now we can calm down. We can calm things down. INexorable building on his own up bio tank army. 1-1 upgrades on the way. Stim on the way. On the flip side here, Papito, he's still trying to build himself back up. Still going reactor Viking. Into mass bio tank. Again, army-wise, we're heading in similar directions, outside of the fact that Papito is going for more and more Vikings. Speaking of, oh, Viking maybe gets 1 SCV. It looks like 1 worker to go down. Not much more than that. So INexorable going for a fake drop. Okay, interesting. Runs into Vikings. And ideally he wants to try to force a reaction here out of Papito. And there it is. Yeah, it does force a mass stim into the main. Distracting the Red Terran. Here comes the main army. And Medvacs are going down, and that is creating an opening. It does get the Sable off. First tank goes down. Gets 1. We'll get the other as well. And with that, the third is going to be broken here. Again, papito completely out of position. No. Vikings, they do somewhat trade well. Only one tank sieged. Yeah, so a messy engage here in INexorable. Only sieging on one of the tanks. That means that's DPS. And that with that is going to be cleaned up completely. Gets cleaned up, but he kills 13 SCVs. That's still worth it for INexorable. He still cripples the economy. He traded with the tanks. Did up to trade. Papito getting desperate. Moving out. And Papito moves that across the map. He's got his drop on the right hand side, the main army through the center. At the same time, INexorable he does coming from behind, and there's not really much of him to defend. Yeah, there's a handful of Marines, there's one tank. It's going to be a messy defense here from Papito. No, he F2's back him. No, he F2's. Yeah, he turns everything back around. By the time he does, it's going to be too late. He's already losing workers. Yeah, already losing his army. Now, technically, Papito, he will eventually clean this up. That is true. But at the same time, INexorable's freely mining on 3 bases. He's now getting a 4th expansion. The army doesn't achieve much at home. And INexorable moving out with the second wave. Yeah, second wave, second army. Out once again. Going for a massive sim, diving in the CC. Tells you for the dive. Tanks take on siege, massive pickups. Oh no, he catches the tanks. Yeah, tanks gonna be going down. 1, 2, 3 tanks do fall. GG gets called, and INexorable he will claim the series at 2-0. GG. Whew. And GG, well played. He will claim the series again. We did see Papito who was able to hold his own for a time in the first game. Here in game number 2, there were some moments for Papito, but at the same time, it was an interesting build of choice here. Rushing into early stim, going into early Viking production as well. It felt a little bit haphazard, a little bit kind of off the cuff, is what I will say, and it was very messy. We had a very messy game there, and again had a couple of nice moments here and there. He was able to do some counter damage, but overall did fall behind. I mean, regardless, INexorable, he is still the favorite player, of course. Coming into it, is one of the best Terran players in Brazil. But Papito, he was again, he has been improving himself. He's been getting better over time, of course, and we look forward to seeing more of him in the future. Look forward to it, Pat. GG. GG, well played, Papito. As that does lead us into the finals. That leads us into the grand finals here. INexorable does advance on to face off against Erik in a best of 5. Let's go, baby, let's go. It is time. Unfortunately, we did not have the replays of the upper semifinals, so we weren't able to cover that. But we are here for what matters most here. The grand finals, the best of 5 ZVT here between Erik and INexorable. These two often go back and forth. When I think of the best players in Brazil currently, it is Erik, INexorable, and Master. I know that Kamikaze has been threatening INexorable in recent times. That is true, and Diego still plays StarCraft, but Diego, he is not in Brazil. He's in Europa at the moment, so he does not play in these tournaments. Maybe one day we'll drag him on. Diego. As we are jumping into game number 1. Fun fact as well, INexorable and Erik, they're both competing in the Collegiate Star League, in the University League that began last week or the week before that. So really cool to see. They're playing together there, and I do have high hopes of them as well. Like, they're both very strong players, and we expect them to go far. We'll be waiting for those matches. Here we go. No lo conozco, pero vamos, papito. Beautiful, beautiful. But here we go, we're getting into our grand finals, the best of 5, and spawning in the bottom hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the Brazilian Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing insane master killers. It is INexorable. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player, also from Brazil, representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Erik. He's one of our own, Pappy, one of our own. Let's go. Let's go. Oh my god, as we are going for the early gas into the early pool here. Okay, I didn't quite get eyes on the gas timing. I'm assuming it was a 14-14, but very early gas, very early pull into early link speed, I would imagine. The other option here, as we're going for the extraction trick, the other option here is to go into an early roach warren, into an early roach rush. I'm curious to see which one it's going to be, whether it's just link speed or the roach warren. It's the Erik. Let's go. Now he's joining and saturating. Behind this, INexorable going for a standard opener. Looks like he's going for a Rax into SCV scout across the map. He's going for a Rax scout. Meanwhile, Erik, he's not going to be expanding. Okay, I think he second-guessed himself. He does not expand. He's of course banking up his resources. The link speed is on the way, and he pulls out of gas. Okay, he pulls out of gas. So no Roach Warren, no Bane Bust, just a rush into link speed very early on. Into a link flood. Now this SCV scout should confirm, right? By the time INexorable gets across the map, he should get eyes on the fact that there's no expansion, no natural, and should get eyes on the early link production as well. Now, will he see the gases? That I don't think he will. But based on the hatchery timing, he should know. So looking at the vision here at INexorable, he does see how late that hatchery is, so it has to be an early gas. He confirms the early pool, but again, because of the delay on this expansion, he should recognize early gas as well. This is risky. So he's going to bypass. He's going to try to bypass the Zerglings. There is a queen. The armies passing by each other. INexorable turns back around. Bunker's on the way. Okay, he's going to be more defensive. He's going to be more defensive here. Turns back around. On patrol. He runs into here. 10 seconds. Oh my god. Okay. They reactions from both players. One Zergling goes down. Erik, he does make an extra wave of links behind this. And then we get link speed. Yeah, link speed kicks in. Reaper gets caught. Ooh, massive pickup. Reaper goes down. And there are 2 Marines to defend. There are 2 Marines. Lings, they bust up the ramp. Ideally, they want to force Marines out of the bunker. Then they can surround. And the wall is under fire. The add-on's close. And the add-on's... Oh, he gets Marines. No, he gets us around. Yeah, Starter steps in. He gets one. He gets both Marine kills. Ay. Yeah, both Marines fall. Takes down the CV. Takes down the mule as well. Behind this, Erik is droning. INexorable, he will defend. But a messy defense. Whew. As from here, was this worth it? Is the big question. Erik, he goes back into gas. So gas income this early on is very abnormal. So to pull back into gas so quickly, this looks like, I was going to say either a 2-base lair or 2-base roach. It's going to be 2-base roach. Roach one has been thrown down. So we're getting into early roach production. INexorable moving out across the map. He's looking for a way in. There is an opening. Remember, there are no Zerglings, so he could dive into a mineral line. Still looking for a way in. Still looking. INexorable does poke in, does pull away. For now, he's going to be stuck at home on 2 bases. Meanwhile, Erik, he's droning. He's droning, he's saturating, layers on the way. Did go for early roaches, and remember, this is not an all-in. This is just ideally trying to force an overreaction. The roaches, they move out, they dance with the army. Doing more from the Ravager behind the mineral line. Oh, gets a Hellion. It does bring up a Hellion. Forcing the boys to be pulled. SCV is going to be going down. Critical damage. 4 SCV kills already. And catching Marines. Oh, does miss a shot. Yeah, will miss a shot. But does reset the Marine count. Oh my god. The tank. This is not quite worthy for Erik, as Erik, he will lose every Zerglin without killing a Hellion. So a little bit messy there from Erik. And behind this, INexorable is getting to his bio. We have Stim on the way, Armory as well to get into 2-2 as quickly as possible. There's going to be a heavy upgrade lead here for INexorable, with a world where there's 2-2 when there's 0-0 for Erik. But the economy, true, the economy is heavily in favor of Erik. He's got his natural fully operational. 4th base is now on the way. Now we're taking up into the pits, in towards Infestors. Into Roach Ravager Infestor. In my mind, that's going to be the build or the composition of choice. No, that's a 630 hive. Okay. Very early hive here for Erik. Interesting. Why? Now we see. With plus on melee on the way, it looks like we're rushing into ultras. Melee upgrade tells us we're getting out of Roach Ravager and not investing too heavily into it. But this is so greedy. It's so greedy here. There's going to be a window in time where INexorable can push across the map, and there's going to be no Banelings to defend. There's going to be a Ling Roach to defend. We're going to have a couple of Infestors, a couple of Fungals. It's going to be a key part of the defense. We'll see if INexorable pushes. We'll see if he moves out. Here comes a double drop. And going for the double drop, making his way here towards the northern base. Erik trying to get in position. So Sim's in. This one gets 2. Yeah, massive hiccups. He doesn't get 2 queens. The army. Erik is holding. Erik is holding on. There's that Ultra Cabinet as you mentioned. That's the big power spike for Erik to get into Ultras. Microbial Shroud is on the way as well. This is all quite expensive, and Erik has yet to saturate his 4th expansion. I feel like this should be the time he's droning, right? This is the time to drone, just because Fungals should be enough to defend. And Fungals are enough. INexorable going for a fake double drop on the right hand side. Okay. Does go for the fake drop. INexorable, he is moving out. With his tank shield, he can just tank the Fungals. We'll say tank the Infestors. He can tank the Fungals here. Nice split, nice spread. There's just not enough on the ground. We have a couple of Ultras trickling in, but is that really going to be enough? There are just so many Marines. So many. Has Erik been too greedy? I think the answer is yes. Man with gun Marines, they can kill Ultras, especially in the low number. Ultra, let's push forward. The first Ultra goes down. No upgrades. No kindness plating. Erik's getting punished. And again, we didn't have to tech all the way into Hive, right? Like we just it was so greedy. It was so greedy, Pappy. Erik, he was hoping that maybe INexorable will be more defensive, more passive. Kindness plating now done. Ultras attack collapse in. And they try it. Down to 2 ultras. Microbo Shroud won't help too much. Nice fungal. Okay. Very nice fungal here. The ultras, they will barely clean this up. Takes down all the tanks, takes down all the marines. Erik, he's holding on. Was he too greedy? Yes, but he's still holding. He's still holding on here. Going for the counterattack, and Erik, he may just snowball out of control. It may just be too much. There are now some marauders though, and they can focus down maybe 2. 1, 2 ultras go down. Can he get 3? He can. Yeah, 3 ultras fall. There's 1 ultra left. INexorable kites well. Expensive losses for Erik. Erik losing every single ultralisk. All we need is a couple of marauders. We're getting messy. We're getting messy, Pat. Nice split. Very nice split. Once again, the socialists. Actually, it may not be focused down here. I will be. Yeah, the marauders, they barely hold their own. They focus on the ultralisk. Erik has to get out of here. He may even lose the infestors. No, the infestors. Oh my god. They do try to shark away. Barely bowler. No, not even. They do not get away here. Losing 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 infestors go down. Insane pickoffs. Can Erik here state his welcome? Erik now has a worse economy. He has a worse economy. He's going for a Doom drop even. Okay. Okay. Going for the Doom drop. He's always long hand bases. Does get an expansion, not bad. Gets a hatchery. At the same time, oh no, he does catch the 2 drop. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 3 full drop lords go down. Heavy losses for Erik. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, he's having too much fun. He's being too greedy, taking up too much. Junior drop is punished. And INexorable, he should just be able to outscale at this point. Should be able to. Yeah, these ultras, they gotta get the hell out of here. They have to pull away. Otherwise, they will fall. Things they bar in the main. They have potential for some counter damage. Now, when it comes to the defense here, a lot of this will come down to the infestors. If the infestors, if they can fungal, and if the army clumps up, then there is a world where Erik can clean up the army. But again, he's heavily reliant on those fungals, and even then, there's not that much support for the ultras. There's 25 lings. Speaking of, here they come. Fungal does graze the army. Nice spread. There's a microbial shroud. Despite that, we should be able to focus on 1, 2, 3 ultras. Another fungal. Yeah, another massive fungal here. All the ultras should go down. And INexorable breaks through. Yeah, he does break through. He takes out every single ultra list. He now can push in. He can push into the bases. And Erik, he has nothing left. He's got a couple of corruptors, a couple of queens. Infestors went down. And with that SN INexorable, he will begin with a lead. GG. And INexorable, he will take a lead in the series. Up 1-0. GG. GG, well played. Again, Erik, he had honestly a decent start. He had a decent start at doing damage, getting ahead, and we saw Erik, he rushed into an insanely fast hive and insanely fast ultras, whereas honestly, if Erik had just calmed down and stuck with a lair tech composition and built up into 4 bases and maxed out a Roach Ravager, I mean, that would have been such an easier game for Erik, but he chose to tech up, he chose to be greedy, and it wasn't worth it. It was not worth it in the end. It was so expensive going into all those ultras and going to hive tech, and when it came to the first push, he had so little to defend as a result of that, and it all just snowballed. It will just snowball out of control. GG. GG all played a very chaotic game here, and we expect more chaos throughout the series, to be fair. We expect more chaos. As we are loading into game 2, we're going to be loading into Winter Madness. This time a much larger map in the map pool. Let's go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the Brazilian Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Insane Master Killers. It is INexorable. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Erik. Let's go. Let us go. As this time hatch first. I remember last game it was gas first. He went gas pool into fast ling speed, into early ling aggression, into a later expansion. This time looks to be more standard. We're looking at a much more standard opener here out of Erik. We're calming down. We've gotten all the chaos out of our system for now. Bearing in mind that Erik, he's a very unique player. He often does come up with his own builds. He comes up with his own builds, and often players do kind of follow suit as a result of that. Do you follow suit? For example, Erik, he did invent the 1515. Cyril did take it from Erik. Did speak on that. Outside of that, we've seen some quirky builds like 2-base Swarm Host, for example. That was quite prevalent for a time. The idea of going into early lair into Queen Dropper Lords in ZBT to spread creep backwards across the map, which Cyril he also did get inspired from, like also came from Erik. He can at times set the meta. At times, I should emphasize, not always. So let him cook, Packy. Let him cook. I think the other build was in ZVP for Erik to go for a macro hatchery instead of going for a third base and getting a fast second hatchery here at the natural base instead of going for, I want to say, delayed queen production. It delayed the third queen. That was the thing in ZVP for a while. But getting more lava overall. From here, Erik, he does get into ling speed. He does leave one in gas, bear that in mind. Does leave one in. Ends with a Reaper. INexorable, he confirms that this time it's a standard build. He confirms the standard hatchery timing. Pokes in, there are lings, there are queens. Everything's looking normal so far. Behind this third CC for Starport, economic follow-up here by INexorable. Okay. Playing standard, playing economic. Likewise, Erik is also playing standard as well. Oh, up until a certain point, that is going to be an early Roach Warren. Delayed a third expansion here by Erik. Playing 2-base heavy early on. Which, if you've been watching Korean StarCraft, is very common amongst the Korean players. Solar, Rogue, Shin, they've all been going for more 2-base play against Terran. Things they do slip out across the map. They will delay mining. And shouldn't kill anything. It doesn't get the Marine. Barely not. Marine does survive. INexorable, he did scout the Roach Warren and he evacuates prematurely here. Oh. Yeah, this is a bit of a misread here. INexorable, because of the early Roach Warren, he believes that a Roach push is coming, so he just evacuates early on, and now he realizes it didn't need to, he pulls back. Lost mining time. And when it comes to a roach push, remember this is not all in. Erik is making 3 roaches and then droning. If he does move out, this is just designed to force an overreaction. We saw the same thing last game, where he pushes early with the roaches. He tries to force bunkers and force excess units and force inefficiencies out of INexorable. Meanwhile, 3cc Banshee. I really like this build specifically against Erik. Going either 3cc Banshee or 111 Banshee. Banshees themselves, they're amazing against roaches. Like, they can shut them down real hard and real fast. Meanwhile, INexorable, we spoke about overreacting. Double bunker. Double bunker here for INexorable. Again, he saw that roach warren. He believes that roach aggression is coming. We know that it isn't. He's just playing safe, playing scared. Ideally, these Hellions that you're seeing here would be out on the map to scout, to confirm what's going on. But right now, in INexorable, he does keep them at home. Keeps them home. Oh, this also does mean the Banshee stays home as well. Cloak is not being researched. No Cloak, because the Hellions, they do move out. They threaten the expansions. They threaten the bases. He's rotating over towards the third. Erik, he's out of position. Roger's over from creep. Oh no, he gets in. Yeah, Hellions, they bust in. Quick reaction out of Erik. He does fully wall off. Ooh. Yeah, it does fully wall. Roach is a catch out of INexorable. Getting one, getting two Hellions. Nice pickups. Hellions are deflected. 1-1 upgrades on the way. We're building up into Roaches. And once again, fast infestation, but this should be for fast infestors. Now, last time we saw Erik rush into Hive and rush into Ultras very fast and very quickly. Here, I'm expecting just infestors just to be safe, but we'll see. Especially with +1 range on the way, right? If this was a melee upgrade, then maybe we might go into Ultras. I mean, the end goal should still be Ultra Tech, but not too early. And here come the safety infestors. Erik playing it safe. INexorable likewise calming down. The Banshees didn't really get much done. You can see that they're still out on the map and they're not actually applying any pressure. It's a little bit odd. Unfortunately, this is like a missed opportunity to find more damage. To poke into the bases. To poke into the third, to poke into the main. And there's that Hive. This is a little bit later than previously, but still pretty early. The goal here is, of course, Ultraless then, and to go into mass Ultra production. This is very Shin-esque. Very Shin-esque. So INexorable does take his gases. Gas is being taken. He's getting into a higher racks count. He's getting into an A-rack setup, but I believe he should be getting a 4th CC with this. You don't typically take your gases with an A-racks. INexorable sends in. Gets an Overlord, pulls away. I say you don't typically take your gases, but this is going to be an A-Rax with Marauder production because of the Roaches. So, INexorable, he might just go for a 3-base all-in here. He might just commit. Erik is supply blocked. Yeah, but due to the Marauder production, this does not confirm that we're getting a 4 CC. A couple of extra Roaches, not bad. Scans into the main, I believe does get eyes on the Hive. Yeah, confirms the Hive tech. There's my Cobra Shroud. Erik is getting into Adrenal, but no Ultra Cavern actually. Which I do appreciate. It means that Erik is not being too greedy. He's still fixated purely on a Ling Bane Road Ravager army. Oh, as he does catch out one of the Infestors, he gets one. Catching Infestor. There's your Ultra Cavern. Ultra Cavern's on the way. Another massive fungal, but there's no follow-up. Yeah, no follow-up. While some of them, they could do crazy army. INexorable stems in. Erik is in trouble. He's got one more fungal available. He doesn't want to waste it. Oh, very nice connection. Oh my gosh. A crazy connection. While they land, he gets one of the tanks. The best fight that Erik could hope for. Yeah, the best fight. Baiting speed is done. It's still a messy defense. Baitings are well passed. Oh my god, did you connect? Yeah, massive connections. Marines are going down. One Marine left. Tank's full, and Erik holds. Yeah, Erik, he does hold on. They're getting brutal baiting connections. Ooh, he'll still close, still intense with Erik. He will snowball out of control. Breaks the main army. And then he has to get the hell out of here. Let's pull away. And remember, he was 3-base all-in. He was a 3-base all-in, and this is a very delayed 4th expansion. It's being thrown down after the fact. After the failed aggression. And now we can incorporate the Ultras. And again, if Erik had rushed into Ultras as soon as he had the Hive, I think that he would have been killed then and there. Thankfully, he played it safe. Went into Ultra Tech afterwards instead. Played it safe. We're still quite close. We're still quite close when it came to the main engagement as well. Like, again, if it wasn't for that one fungal growth, I mean, that game still could have been over. So still very close. But now Erik just buying time for his ultras. Some of his roaches get caught out. He does get caught. And even though the supplies are evening up here, it's important to bear in mind that ultras are now being incorporated into Erik's army. It's building on more ultralisks. The army's becoming that much more effective. Still does come down to the fungal growth, so, and there's still only 3 infestors. That should be okay. Should be okay. Assuming that the army comes together. Uh-oh. Let's force out a fungal. Yeah, one fungal was forced. Files they connect. Nice connections. Yeah, Ravagers they catch out they catch out some of the Liberators. Those 2 libs going down. There's my Kerbal Shroud. As Erik casts Respect, he has to pull away at the same time. Lings, they do hit the mineral line. Oh, Roaches even. And they come in. Natural base goes down. INexorable is going to be crippled. And what you see is what you get. This is the final army here for INexorable. As Roaches are camping reinforcements. So I feel like we have to keep pushing in. Gotta keep going. Oh, he turns around. Yeah, he turns back around. Ling, they hatch more reinforcements. They bust into the mineral lines. SCV's gonna be going down. There should be a planetary. Yep, there is. There's a planetary to defend. That's still another 11 SCVs. Another 11 workers. And no, we come back too soon. Yeah, the SCVs, they come back too soon. We get another 12, 13, 12. 12 workers. No mass. And with that, Erik should max. Should be able to max out. Forcing out more skins. Erik is moving in. He wants that planetary. Because of his crucial mining base here for INexorable. Launches a roll in. Nice piles on Liberators once again, catching out 2. We will catch out the army though. A nice flank here with the Fungals. Yeah, Fungals connect. Ultra they trade as best they can. With the Micro Shroud, they trade well. Oh my god. They trade very nicely. Yeah, Chain Fungals. GG gets called. And Erik, he will tap the series 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. The series is tied up here, back to back. We do see that Erik this time did play safer. He did go for the same kind of end goal, which is opening up roaches and leading into Ultra Tech, but this time he did delay his Ultraless Cavern. He got a faster hive, went into Adrenal, got into his infestors, safety infestors, built up his roach army first, and then he went to Ultras thereafter. So a much more safer approach this time by Erik, and he got away with it. It was still close. We saw that in INexorable he had a massive army pushing across the map, but he took 2 massive fungals to the face. If it wasn't for those fungals, then maybe Erik does break through. Maybe he does kill, sorry, maybe INexorable does break through. Maybe he does kill Erik in that moment, but the fungals were brutal. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be loading into game number 3. We're tied up 1-1 here, and we'll see who takes the lead in the series as we load into 10,000 feet. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the blue Terran player, himself, the Brazilian Terran representing Insane Master Killers. It is INexorable. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player, the Brazilian Zerg, representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Erik. Here we go. As INexorable, this time he does set up on the low ground, so it looks to be 2x Reaper out of INexorable, a much more aggressive build out of our Terran player, and we'll see if he can punish Erik. Erik, again, he's very diverse when it comes to his openers, and if he's a little bit too greedy, then he can be punished. For now, just going hatch first. It should be hatch gas pool. If he goes gasless, then this will lead into late link speed and a late dealing of this setup. Hold on. Are we actually going to X Reaper? Eyes on INexorable here because it looks like a Rax into factory actually. Okay. S INexorable. If it's Rax in a factory, this is a special build. Este Juanito. Yeah, so it's going into the factory instead, so not to Rax Reaper. Now there is a big downside to this build that I'm not very fond of, especially against a player like Erik. Like against these more aggressive Zerg players, this is a very risky thing to do. Now what am I getting at? Well, it's going to be Rax into factory, and the issue with this build is that all your production, your Rax, your factory, your starport as well, everything is here at the natural. It's all at the natural base, and Erik confirms. Erik, he does confirm with the Overlord. This means that if Erik were to go for a big roach roll in, he isn't, he's going gasless, which can lead into a roach roll in, by the way. He's going for a gasless opener, hatch into hatchery, sorry, hatch into pool into hatch. Very late gases here by Erik, but it means that if he goes for a roach roll in, he can break the natural, and in breaking the natural, he will break the production as well. Usually in a standard game, if an all-in hits a natural base, Terran players can evacuate. They can just lift the CC, evacuate, and defend in their main, but because the production is also tied to the natural, it means that breaking the natural base is even more impactful. And there it is, early roach warren. As I mentioned, roach roll in. Now, the way this build works from Erik's side of things, he does go for a gasless opener, and that typically means either 2-base layer or 2-base roach. The reasoning for this is because your gases are so late, it means that you're never going to get link speed, or that you're going to skip link speed. So the gases are very, very late. Now we're taking them, of course, after a boosted mineral economy. Now we can pull into the gases, and we're going to be skipping link speed and straight into roach production. It's going to be a difficult defense here for INexorable. We'll see if he can hold on. As I mentioned previously, if he loses control of this wall, he loses control of the game. Right? He'll just lose control of the game as well. Now, the one upside here is that the starport is further back in the main expansion, but this also means that there's no add-on swap. So there's no add-on swap into, say, Cloak Banshee, for example, with a faster tech lab. You have to make the add-on manually here instead, which will delay the production. Here we go, roaches are revealed. It does reveal the roaches. Erik, he's pushing, and back at home, what do we have to defend? Bunker. Bunker's on the way. It's going to be a bunker behind the wall, which means that these add-ons are exposed. If you watch players like Bjorn often gets his bunkers on the left-hand side to protect his production. Here it's behind the production. But we'll see. Now his roaches are welling in. So it's more from a Ravager. Ooh, we'll lose one, we'll lose two roaches. Yeah, massive Pigos, 2 roaches go down. There's one Ravager left. And INexorable holds. Whew, he does hold on. Again, Erik, he didn't go for the all-in. Did not all-in. Behind this, Erik has been droning. If he had gone for an all-in, I do think that he breaks this position, to be honest. I do think he would have broken this position. I do think there was potential there. Oof. That's the Wild does land. Now, regardless whether or not we would have seen it all in, Erik, he is droning, he's saturating, he's now building up later Roach Ravager, and I believe he should be able to build up enough to defend. Should be able to. Yeah, the Queens come together. We got a couple of Roaches on the way. Link speed is being resourced. This tells us it's going to be a Ling at Roach Ravager. And we're selling into the mid game. Once again, it feels like the end goal here for Erik is going to be Hive Tech. That's what it feels like here. Just like the last 2 games. Nice drop into the main. Denies mining. Oh. As INexorable was getting trapped. The medevac is very low. And that's an expensive medevac. Behind this, lair is on the way. Very late lair. Into 1/1 upgrades. +1 range, not +1 melee. Into initially Roach Ravager Infestor. And there he's run nicely. Medevac is activated. Liberator into the main. Shows the vials. Oh. INexorable just being as annoying as possible. Gets 3 drone kills, not bad. Ooh, but the full medevac goes down. Oh god, that was the tank inside. Heavy losses. 1,000 Liberator gets 1 drone, just the one. And Erik holds. Now Erik's gas income was a little bit disrupted, but there we go. He does notice. Let's pull back in. Take it across the map. And we'll see how INexorable will follow this up. For now, he's just going for his own 5-rack setup. So standard production setup here behind this, going to his forward third expansion, is building up in towards the mid game. At the same time, Erik, there's that infestation bit into Infestors. So far, solid setup here by Erik. Getting ready for Infestor production. Hive is now on the way. It's important to take note that I believe that once again, we should not rush into the Ultra Cavern immediately. We need to build up a robust army first. We don't want to be too greedy. We don't want to pull a game 1. Terran player does go for the drop. Erik's keeping up. Nice engage for the Zerg. Catching out 1, 2, 3 Marines. Ooh, wow, as they connect. As INexorable, he does focus on as many tumors as he can. Was that 4 tumors? That is some damage. Erik is forced back. He does confirm the Hive. He's aware of the Hive tech. I don't really know if INexorable can do much about Steadfast Hive. He tells to go for the Mass on Siege. He wants to try to break out. This is his moment. And Erik shouldn't be here. Yeah, he should not be here. Massive losses. The Roaches are going down. Heavy losses for Erik. And it should trigger a counterattack. As Erik will lose all the Lings, lose all the Roaches. Erik has to back off. At the same time, though, Erik, he's done droning. He's been done droning for quite some time. He's massing away Infestors, more Roaches. INexorable, he's all in. Here come the boys. Yeah, the boys are being pulled from the natural even. Let's go. Oh, the investors. Uh-oh. There's some messy rally here for Erik. He has to back up. We pull back. Oh, INexorable. What's going on? The boys, they pull back home. They pull back home. Fungal's coming in, and oh, we cannot lift up those tanks. They're going to be shut down. Heavy losses for INexorable. Ay, ay, ay. Again, he was all in. He was all in. That was it. And with that, he's going to be shut down. The boys go back to mining. Smurge, baby, smurge. I'm not saying that if he had committed with the boys that would have worked, but regardless, he was all in. Like, he had to end the game then and there. So may as well send everything. As another tank falls, rallying across the map, and Erik, he's done it. He's breaking through. Just as they pull away, Lings, they force friendly fire. Getting into the final tanks, GG gets called, and Erik will take a 2-1 lead in the series. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Erik, he will take a lead once again. Very chaotic and very messy early game from both players. We had some interesting drop play here by INexorable, finding some damage. He ended up losing the drop though in the end. Likewise, we had an interesting build out of INexorable as well, going for the low ground setup. And initially, Erik, his roach aggression wasn't really doing too much, but we saw that he was able to stabilize, get up to 70 drones, and build up his roach ravager. INexorable, he did scan, he saw the hive, and we assumed that he was going to go for a 2-base all in. He did push, but he got shut down, right? He got shut down in the middle of the map. Erik, he was able to build up his army just in time and shut it down. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be loading into game number 4. We're here to determine, does Erik claim it here and now? Can INexorable force the ace match? Let's go. Loading into game 4, we're going to be loading into White Rabbits. And spawning in the top right hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the Brazilian Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Insane Master Killers. It is INexorable. Hello. And spawning. Let's go. Spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the red Zerg player getting proxy 2-axed. We have the Brazilian Zerg representing the CranKy Ducklings. He's one of our own, baby. It is Erik. As he move out with 1, with 2, with 3 SCVs, proxy 3-axed here out of INexorable. He doubles down and commits here into the all-in. Erik is going for a drone scout though. That is very unusual. Assuming he scouts, if he goes to the hatchery here, he may just be dead. Oh no, he's going for the hatchery. Yep. He doesn't scout the main. He's so close. He doesn't scout the main base. He's going straight for the proxy hatchery. This is designed to delay the economy of INexorable, and this means that Erik has less to defend. This will delay the spawning pool of Erik. And here comes the proxy. Here comes the all-in. And Erik, okay, he does go hatch pool, so hatch pool opener here. But Erik here has no expansion, and he will not get a natural base up and running. I think that's just a build or a win for INexorable, not gonna lie. So typically with a proxy 3-axe, the least amount of damage you want is to kill the natural base. But and that's a sure thing at this point. Like because it's gonna be so late, there's no creep to work with. There's gonna be no queen on the low ground. There's gonna be no spine crawlers. You have to pull the boys out into nothing here, as there's no creep to work with either. Like it's just a dead natural. We can try to cause some chaos with the proxy across the map, I suppose. And we'll see. As INexorable, he's scouting for the first time.
Center upgrade you ordered is here.
The total biscuit. As there we go, throws in the bunker. He does recognize the earlier pool, the earlier gas. I say earlier. He does recognize that there's creeper across the map. He knows. Spine crawlers on the way to the high ground. So Erik, he's going to try to make a stand in the main. He's making links across the map. There's potential. I do appreciate that he canceled the bunker. So he cancels the bunker, goes into the main base. Can't deny those spine crawlers. Oh, going for the pool. Interesting. I mean, the spawning pool is exposed. The roach horn is on the way. Boys being full defend. And we do try to pull the boys here. Oh no, can we borrow? Yeah, spine crawler is delayed. Marines, they will overwhelm. And they overwhelm the Zerglings. We'll set up with the natural. Across the map, there are Lordlings on the way. This can deal devastating damage, by the way. These Lings. They can make their way into the main. We're getting messy. We're getting rowdy. Boys are being pulled. Do it around. Oof, does. Yeah, nice mineral walking. Surrounds the Lings. Not a clean defense, but a defense nonetheless. Oh, as we're going to be bleeding out to 8, 9 SCVs at the same time. Marines, they do start to step in. They punish the boys. Another 5 drone kills. Another 5 workers. Natural base goes down. And are we satisfied with this? Do we start to make SCVs? What's the plan? There's a roach for it, but Erik, he can't afford the roaches. He cannot afford roaches. And INexorable, he does not turn around. Does not go back home. Can he step up? He can at least kill the queen. So steps in. Queen goes down. Spine crawler as well. He's done it. Yeah, this one he's done it. The spine crawler will fall. Takes down the spine. Nothing left to defend. Only the boys. And INexorable just has to make sure he doesn't get surrounded. Just has to make sure. Lings, they catch at the depot. INexorable supply block. We can just lift. He can just lift and float. Oh, true. We can go across. Erik, he abandons the main base. Is going to his natural. He can mine. He can. He's gonna be able to mine back at home. He's got 10 drones, Patty. True, true. He's racing back home to mine. Meanwhile, INexorable is coming. He's coming, and to be honest, INexorable, he should still kill it. He should still kill. He should still win. As there's no queen. There's no queen. There's no spine crawler. There's nothing to defend. We have vanilla marines. Sorry, vanilla Lings, and Marines will outtrade. Oh, he's muling. Goes to the mules. I assume he's going to use the mules here, actually, but sure. Once again, does so step in. There's one roach on the way. Lings, they attempt to surround. And Marines, can he avoid it? He can. Oh, just barely. Just barely pull out. There we go. Takes out all the drones. Does focus on the roach as well. And with that, there's nothing left for the Zerg. GG gets called. And an INexorable ties up the series. Whew, we are going to the ace match. GG. Hey, hey, GG, well played. We're going all the way to the ace match here, all the way to game 5. Again, a very intense game. Unfortunately, in my eyes, that was a build order win for Erik to invest into the hatchery across the map. I mean, to be fair, he was able to kill some SCVs across the map as well. You could maybe argue that Erik making the roach warren did kill him. I'll be honest, I could have, maybe I was seeing things, but I thought that Erik was getting 2 spine crawlers. He only got 1, but instead of getting a roach warren, that could have been a second, a third spine crawler. If he had a secure defense on top of that ramp, then maybe he wins. Because remember, before the Marines busted through that ramp and busted through the spine crawler, Erik was ahead in workers. Because of his Ling aggression across the map, he had killed a bunch of SCVs. Like he had an economy to work with, but again, he just did not have enough to defend that ramp. And there's a world where maybe that could have been the case if we hadn't been greedy enough to go into that roach one instead. But GG, well played. With that, we're going to be loading into the ace match, going to be loading into the Old Republic. Let's go. Let us go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the Brazilian Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Insane Master Killers. It is INexorable. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player, the Brazilian Zerg, representing the CranKy Ducklings. He's one of our own. What does he stand for? He stands for endurance, righteousness, intellect, and kangaroo. It is Erik. So let us go as INexorable once again sets up on the low ground. Now, initially, if you recall, my assumption was this will be 2 Rax Reaper, but we'll keep an eye on the gases to see if he does go for a Rax into factory build instead. Oh, hello. As Erik, he does put the low ground setup, and he will still go for the proxy hatch. Okay. Here we go. It is going to be 2 Reaper this time. INexorable, he does scout the initial proxy hatch. Now, who does this favor here? I believe we have seen this situation before. Shin, if you recall, I believe this occurred between Shin and Maru during the GSL semifinals last season. As Shin does play very similar to Erik, true, when it comes to their builds. Very similar. So with this, we go for the proxy hatch. We will have Reapers on the way. A couple of boys are being pulled as well. I believe Erik will be forced to cancel. I don't think it'll be wise to let this finish. Behind this, going for the gas pool follow-up. Oh, well, Marines actually. Okay. He's not mining gas. Because of the Marines, that means there won't be a counter attack. We'll see if Erik does cancel. Again, this is already doing damage. He's forcing a lot of boys to be pulled off the mineral line. That's a lot of economic damage. This is better for Erik already. When he does cancel in time. Yeah, it does barely cancel. Once again, delaying the expand. That's that final cancellation. He can now go for the gas steal. Oh. Jesus. Oh no, he gets it again. Yeah, he does get it again. This time there are 3 Marines, so yeah, this is expensive. Yeah, this second block is expensive. This is less worth it. Oh, Jesus. So he will delay a little bit longer here. A little bit. Yeah, Jordan goes down, no gas steal. Behind this, Erik does go for a very fast third expansion. In the grand scheme of things. Pulls out of gas. There's no roach rush. There's no fast lair. Erik is being more economic. Being more economic instead. So now our players are building up. We have our Reavers moving out across the map, looking for some damage here. Link speed is almost complete, and we gotta get out of here. Yeah, INexorable has to be careful. Link speed is done. Reaper does dip back in. Going further into the main base, scouting for the lair, scouting for gases, and scouting for the roach horn. There's nothing to scout. And with that, INexorable can breathe easy. Behind this, going for a third CC, so 3 CC 2-on-1. This will be hitting around, usually this hits at around 6 minutes, but it has been a very awkward early game, so the timing should be off. They're going to be off here. Oh, free add-on. Okay. The Marines, they were denying Overlord Scouts, so that's going to be the Tech Lab going down. Very nice pickoff. Takes down the Tech Lab, now going for the reactor as well. I believe this reactor should survive. Yep, does survive. And you said I see roaches, and I see 16 Zerglings. Oh my god. With these extra Zerglings on the way, it looks like Erik, he wants that Tech Lab again. He wants to deny both upgrades, sorry, both add-ons. He wants them both. Behind this double starport? Wait, what? Are we going two-port Banshee? Okay. So I guess that is a fake upgrade. Not 2-port Banshee, 2-port BC. Okay, Gumiho, is that you? Este Gumiho. So these add-ons aren't going to be as meaningful, as it does not really matter as much, but what I'm concerned by is that Erik is not droning. He's going for the all-in, and he may just break that natural. The issue with going 2-port BC is that you have to wait for the fusion core, right? There's a big window in time as add-ons are going down, but there's a massive window where you have nothing. Like, all this production is being left idle, essentially. So INexorable has no army. He has no bunker. He has vanilla Marines. Vanilla Marines. And the production is doing nothing until the fusion core finishes, and BCs take a long time to build. There's a world where Erik kills INexorable before there's a single battle cruiser. Again, this is a fun build, but this build is heavily reliant on your opponent leaving you alone. And Erik's not going to leave you alone. He's like, it's Erik. No. And the pants are down. The pants are down. Not like this. BC production has begun. Now, there is a world where Erik breaks through, he kills the natural, he pushes into the main base, BCs arrive, they defend, then they counterattack. Erik, as soon as he sees what's going on, he needs spores. We need spores and queens back at home as quickly as possible. As the wall is breaking, Lings, they flood in. Yeah, he floods into the bases. Lings, they commit, the bunker should not finish. And with that, the natural is broken. BCs are halfway done. And Erik, he spots it, he knows. Yeah, he does spot the BCs. Instantly, queen production has begun. We got queens on the way back at home. And GG. GG, well played. Kills the starport. BC does not spawn in. And Erik, he will claim the series 3-2, becoming the Code for Giants Cup number 30 champion. GG. GG, well played. A crazy build out of INexorable, going 2-port BC. Very crazy, very intense. And again, this can work if your opponent leaves you alone, right? If Erik was less aggressive, if he was less all in, if he was droning and making workers and saturating his bases and building into a 4th base, then the BCs, they can pop off. But again, you are just heavily reliant on your opponent not scouting and your opponent not blindly being aggressive. But it's Erik, he's the aggressor, typically, and GG. GG, well played. Congratulations, Erik, you will claim the series. But a very intense back and forth, went all the way to the ace match, went all the way, went the distance. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations, Erik, he will claim the series, he will claim the tournament. Shout out to INexorable for making a series out of it, of course. Shout out to Papito earlier for competing in the semifinals. Big shout out. Big shout out. With that, we are going to be going on a break. We're not going to be heading off yet, despite this being the end of the tournament. If you remember, I did mention this earlier, but last week I did lose my voice. If you recall, last week was it was rough. It was rough. But last week I did end up losing my voice. And as a result, I was unable to finish a certain cast, specifically Kung Fu Cup. We were mid-series in Kung Fu Cup in the finals between Hira and Byun. And if you remember, I had to end the stream halfway through the series just because I couldn't keep going. It was last week on Monday. It was either Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, it was last week on Tuesday where I lost my voice, so we had to cancel a bunch of casts. We had to stop the stream, and I just rested up as much as I could. We still casted GSL, but like minimal casting, like a lot of resting, and we got through the week. And at this point, I've recovered. But because of that, we didn't get to finish the finals cast for Kung Fu Cup. So we're going to be going on a short break. Gonna need a moment to set up all of my assets to get everything going, and we'll get ready for Hero versus Byun. Bam, as you can see here, just under me, Hero versus Byun, they were tied 1-1. It's a best of 5, and they were tied 1-1, and then we couldn't continue. We didn't get into game 3. So we're going to be going on a break, and we'll be jumping into Hero versus Byun up next. We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon after the break. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Whew, hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OC as we returned. We returned here with something different, something special with the Kung Fu Cup. The Kung Fu Cup at 2026 at week number 7. We're mid-series here in the grand finals. Once again, to reiterate for those who weren't here for it, last week on Tuesday, we were actually originally casting this event, and we did have to actually end the stream mid-finals. We were mid-series between Hero and Beyond. We were tied up 1-1 in the best of 5. We had to end the stream mid-finals as I had started losing my voice quite heavily basically during game 2 of this series. I was like, I just couldn't keep going, so we took a break. I said took a break. We still casted like every day basically, but we did cut things down to just one cast a day, focusing purely or mainly on GSL, of course, just resting, recuperating, and we made it through the week, made it through. In the end, we recovered. And now we're here to catch up on the finals. We're here to catch up with the rest of the series. I believe the game that we had just covered was game 2 that was on 10,000 feet. And it was a very long game as well, which is partly why I probably lost my voice. It was like a half hour, if not like 35-40 minute game. Intense back and forth late game TVP on 10,000 feet. I believe they go the way of Beyond in the end, if I recall correctly. Regardless, we're tied up 1-1, and now we're going to be loading into Ruby Rock. Let's go. Now, after a very long and very intense game on 10,000 feet, I'm imagining that one of our 2 players here is going to be hyper aggressive to try to gain momentum and try to end things a little bit early after being fatigued after game 2, but we'll see. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is my keyboard being disconnected. Hold on. It is Beyond. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, the South Green Protoss representing T1. It is Hero. So, let us go as we do open up early on here. Welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is a smaller map of the map pool. Aggression is favored on this map, and typically we look at Terran players to be more aggressive. But if you know anything about Beyond doesn't really often go for 2 base all-ins. Beyond does go for 3x stim timings or 3 CC 3x's, or does play for the mid game, but is less likely to go for these all-ins compared to players like Bunny or Cure or Maru, for example, or even Clem. Like, there are definitely more aggressive Terran players out there. So again, Beyond is just more prone to longer mid to late games. So we might be in for a longer series here. For now, economic start. Single gas opener, racks expand out of Beyond, going for an economic opener. At the same time, we have a Hero across the map getting to his own opener as well. So far, so good, so standard. Nothing crazy, nothing wild, not yet. This can still lead into an aggressive mid game for sure, so it can still lead there, but we'll see. Gracias, yo, gracias. I appreciate it. Thank you. I do appreciate it, Happy. It's been a very intense month. It's been a very intense month of StarCraft, with GSL, with RSL, very intense. Bearing in mind that my source of the game is next week, I believe. Next week. We have the RSL Season 5 Finals this weekend, and the GSL Finals is next weekend. And then my source of the game, we have the Thermal 2-2 circuits. We have Home Straight Cup on the horizon as well. Intense month. I still have to discuss with Kuro what the plan is, because I think we probably won't cast my source of the game. If you remember, last year we did live cast the entirety of my source of the game, like the qualifiers, the preliminary stage, the group stage, the offline event. We casted everything. It was a lot of fun. It was a really good event, and I can't wait to see it again for the second edition. But it is at a much more European friendly time. I think it starts at like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. my time, so it ends at like 6-7 a.m. in the morning. And last year I could go full degen and do that, but this year, for those that are unaware, I do have some pet bunnies, and I have other responsibilities, so going full degen and casting deep late into like 6-7 a.m. in the morning is a little bit less feasible for me nowadays. So we might not cast my source of the game live. If we cast it, it's going to be by replays, which is a shame. I know that we're doing a lot of replay casts as of late, but yeah, we can't be full degen like we used to. Smooch, man, smooch. Which is maybe a good thing, to be honest. Like, it's still. So now we're opening up. Oh, not Blink. A Twilight Council into Charge instead. A much more aggressive start here from Hero. Winding it back, so when it comes to our follow-up, typically charge-based openers are done when you believe your opponent's going to be aggressive. Charge is a very good way to punish a 2-base all-in, for example, in an early tank push. I did mention previously that last game, game number 2 of the series, was a very long late game, so Hero might be reading Beyond as being hyper-aggressive and might just try to counter that with early charge. We'll see if Beyond does take the baits. For now, Marines are amassing. We have our 1-1-1 set up, early tank production as well, and we'll see if Beyond does go for an early move out. If this was a medevac, I would confirm that, but this is a Raven follow-up instead, so it looks like we should be defending back at home. We should be setting up defensively, and we'll see how our dynamic changes. I say that, there is no bunker. We might still push with this. And that would benefit Hero. That would Here we go, the first tank has arrived. Beyond setting up back at home for now. We'll see if Beyond pushes with the second tank or just sets up. Hero claiming a third base, Charge is finishing. Building up. This typically leads in towards Temple Archives, into Archons and the Storm. Oh no, we're going for the Bay into Colossus. Okay. Interesting. We're setting up for the Bay. This confirms as well that Hero's not pushing. So in the end, his opener wasn't really worth it. He's warping in Zealots, but he can't really make use of this. Raven gets caught out. Nice catch. Oh, sorry, I mean, let's say Raven catches the Observer. Nice catch. Observer gets caught. We have our standard follow-up here, and Beyond is just chilling back at home. He's just chilling back at home, waiting for his upgrades. When Stim finishes, then he can start to be active. Until then, he's being very defensive. I would say to be ill-advised if Hero tries to push into this. Again, we have a very strong defensive setup here. And Hero, I mean, if we push in just to trade Zealots, I think that's okay. Still not ideal. Hero shades. Dust with the bunker. Dust with the bio. He goes in. And you can see that as soon as the tank is revealed, he backs off. He went in, took a tank shot to the face. Hero pulls away. Hero just revealed this charge. Now Beyond knows. He knows it was not a blink-based opener. And which means Beyond knows not to push. Ideally, Hero wants Beyond to move out and expose himself, so Beyond should be staying at home, turtling up on 2 bases, then getting a 3rd base, and turtling up on 3 bases as well. So once again, the Raven does poke in. Oh, Beyond is not expanding. Okay. Beyond is committing. This is very risky. It is a very risky move out. He has built up a very nice Marine count, so he can protect the tank. And Hero, he's missing the move out. Uh-oh. Yeah, Hero, he does miss the push. Beyond going across the map. Hero is lacking warp-ins. Beyond's moving in, again, completely unscattered so far. Harassing in the main base, distracting. There's a scan. Beyond, he does rush in. Stim is done. Tank is exposed. Tank is exposed. Sorry, God, it's been in the early morning. It's like, I meant to say Colossus is exposed. Colossus will go down. Massive pickup, and with that, we're just snowballing out of control. We're going for the kill. We're going for the win here. Colossus goes down. Robo as well. And there's nothing here. There's nothing to defend. The Zealots, they come in from behind. They do catch out the tank. But Marines, they bust into the mineral line. Again, critical damage is being dealt. No Robo, no Colossus. Again, here he missed the move out completely. He missed it badly. And with that, Beyond is done it. Beyond, he has done it. He has broken the main army. 21 probe kills, and Beyond is looking to take a lead in the series. Oh, is a little bit overstimmed. True. It's a little bit overstimmed, but it's been worth it anyway. Yeah, takes out the Prism as well. GG gets called, and Beyond takes a 2-1 lead in the series. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, winding it back, Hero, I will say that Hero wanted Bjorn to be active and expose himself, but Hero missed the move out. He didn't see. He didn't scout. He had his army in the main attack path at the ramps. He did not have his army on the left-hand side, so he missed the push completely. Bjorn got across the map uncontested, unscouted, was able to siege up, and Hero didn't realize what was going on until Bjorn was already knocking down that front door. Likewise, Colossus had no defenses, had nothing to buffer for the Colossi. Colossi went down real fast and real quick. GG. GG, well played. And with that, Bjorn is now one game away from claiming the series, and we'll see if we can close it out here now as we load into White Rabbits. This time a much larger map. So Ruby Rock does favor aggression, and hey, we saw aggression out of Bjorn. Meanwhile, this map here is larger, longer rush distance by ground instead, and we do often see a lot more mid-game play. We'll get into it. As spawning in the top right hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series. Leading the series 2-1, it is Bjorn. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss player himself, the South Korean Protoss representing T1. It is Hero. Intense month equals great content. True. Exclamation mark funny cam. The bungees, man. The bungees. One day we'll have Bunny Cam again. Hello, Bjorn, as he's going for the proxy. Yeah, Bjorn, he does move out across over the SCV. We have one Rax back at home. It looks like one Rax across the map as we're intentionally hiding the SCV here on the right hand side. I say proxy, based on its location of the ramp, it looks like we want to avoid the main scouting probe and go for the eBay block. What's it going to be? As he does hug the edge. Moving in, he will avoid the probe, and yeah, we're coming in for the block. But Hero will scout. Yeah, Hero, he does scout in time. Nice movement out of Hero. He does spot the SCV, and he will deny the block. So here we go. We have three probes on low ground. Oh. We still got some decent progression on the eBay, though. Yeah, some decent progression. Without Zelda's popping out. And this will be cancelled. Again, if this wasn't scouted, the eBay will get up to like, what, 70% done. Then Bjorn can delay the expansion and force Hero to expand at the at the third location instead. We're going to force the unnatural natural. So this is best case scenario for Hero. As the Zelt does move out across the map. Behind this, Hero settling in. And Bjorn back at home does go for his racks into the high ground CC into factory. So economic opener, but a little bit of a safer variation as he sets up on the high grounds. Meanwhile, welcome to White Rabbits. White Rabbit is a very large map of the map pool, long rush distance by grounds. One of the big features of this map, though, is how separated or how spread out the bases are. Your third base, your fourth base, your fifth base, you're very spread out here on White Rabbit. Because of this, it can be difficult to defend in a longer or later game once we're talking about four bases. Like, securing a four-base setup can be more difficult in this map compared to Winter Madness or Celestial Enclave. Or even 10,000 feet, it's true. Zelda does waddle across. It is going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Hero. Does open Twilight Council. This time we're expecting Blink, not Charge. As Hero does get a full scout, confirming the faster CC. And ideally he wants an SCV kill. He wants a worker kill. Can he get one? Does not retarget in time. Will get a Marine. Ooh, he gets one. He might get two. Yeah, one Marine goes down. Adepse should shuffle. Right now we have the weakened at forward. Almost gets a Marine. He gets one more. So that's two Marines going down. Decent trades there from Hero. And he gets away before the Cyclone arrives. He could have stayed a little bit longer here, but he plays it safe. Backs off. Behind this, we have Blink on the way. So far, 2 gateways, so 2 gate Blink. We'll see if we throw down a third gateway or if Hero takes a faster third expansion. Now, because Hero knows that he's already ahead economically, it would be a risk to go for a faster third, especially considering that he feels that Bjorn is pressured to be active and to be aggressive. So Hero does get a safety third gateway. So very safe build here by Hero. Makes sense considering the pressure that was applied to Bjorn. Go. Beyond is getting set up, going into interference matrix, building his raven. Wait, so faking a cloak, I should say. Wait, did he fake it to anything? No, unfortunately. So basically, he was faking cloak, hoping for a scout. So Hero does not go for any hallucination or observer. So Hero is not aware. Cheeky move out of Beyond, not quite worth it, or doesn't pay off, I should say. As Hero's being active behind this, did he throw an extra gateways? He did. Sorry, my apologies. 4-gate blink. 4-gate blink stalker, much more aggressive, much more committed here by Hero. He can warp in, he can commit, and does he break any of these positions? There's going to be one tank in each base. The bunker is just not finishing, but Hero can always dive into the main. Does confirm the wall up. Does confirm the tank. He's going for the natural, blinks in, he gets the tank here. One tank goes down, massive pickoff. Now going for the medevac. Medevac falls as well. The cyclone, massive pickoffs, but the bunker should hold. Yeah, the bunker is barely holding on, but this is the first dominant falling, right? One tank has gone down, and we don't have another tank in production. It's just one tank left. Oh, yeah, one tank remaining. The final tank is going to go down. No more tank production here. Greedy play by Byan, going for the earlier add-on swap. With that Hero, he backs off, he rotates, he goes on the warp in, and now there are 0 tanks. And without tanks and without stim, there's no defense. It's going to be very difficult defense here by Byan. Hero, he rotates over. Where we headed? Back into the main. We go to juggle. Yeah, nice juggling so far. Just trade with the Marines. Cashing out the Marauder. So there we go. Marauder goes down, 8 SCV kills. Again, a messy defense here by Byan, and we just keep going. We just keep on going, keep on pushing. And until Stim finishes, Byan is going to have a very, very rough defense. So it's a tough hold. He blinks in. He blinks forward. Drops down some Zealots. Marines overwhelmed. And Hero's done it. Hero, he has control of the main base. GG gets called. And Hero ties up the series. We're going to the ace match. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Again, hyper aggression by Hero going for 4-gate blink. Meanwhile, Byan didn't know. Byan wasn't aware of how committed this was. But not just that, Byan was also cutting corners and being greedy. It is standard to keep your tech lab on the factory and to make a 3rd tank, or I say standard, it is a safer way to approach the game. Here, Byan went for the earlier add-on swap, which means that if he lost a tank, he would not replace it. He would not be able to replace the tanks, and without replacing tanks, there would be no defense against 4-gate blink. GG, well played. Byan, he went for the add-on swap. He went off of tank production. There was no reinforcing tanks. There was no defense. And with that, Byan was broken. And with that, we're getting into the ace match. We're loading into game number 5. Whew, we're getting into the ace match here, and we'll see how this story ends. It's been a very intense game 3 and game 4, not gonna lie. It's been very, very intense. We've yet to, aside from game 2, of course, we've yet to embrace a longer, later game. Most likely because of game 2, but we'll see. We'll see how the series does close out here on Winter Madness. This morning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the blue Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Shopify. It is Byan. Hello. I saw that rally. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss representing T1. It is Hero. Hello, Byan. I did notice that the rally SCV does hide here on the right-hand side, going for the proxy. He's going for the proxy, and he's moving out with the second SCV. So here we go. It's going to be proxy Jurax. Again, it's been a very aggressive game 3, 4, and 5, and this makes sense because game 2 was very, very late game. Like, it was very long. It was a very long game 2. So we can see both players wanting to try to end things earlier as a result of that. One game impacting the other. It is that proxy 2x. I believe this should be 2x Reaper. I don't think typically if it's going to be proxy Marauder, then we would have had a faster second gas geyser, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll see. I might be crazy. Hero is going to be setting up low ground. Does expand. No, yeah, it is going to be a tech lab. Never mind. Proxy Marauder. Never mind. Now, this can kill. I'm always looking back on 2024, I Am Katowice, was it 20.5? When here he lost to Cure in the in the quarterfinals. I'll always remember. As the proxy marauder is on the way. That was on Golden Aura, if you remember. It was on Golden Aura where he panicked really hard against the proxy marauder. We threw down the robo, then he canceled the robo, threw down a gateway, like he canceled that. Like he had just a very chaotic defense. Here he does scout one of the proxy locations. We're banking up those marauders, and we'll soon pull the trigger. Now, Hero didn't go for the probe scouts across the map at least, so he's in the dark as what's going on. Safety batteries on the way. Marauders revealed, he knows. Yeah, Marauders revealed. Does cancel, gives them low ground. A very mature call here. We just completely abandoned the low ground. If you remember, against Cure, he did commit to defend the low ground, and Hero paid the price for it. So he just abandons, defends the main base. Sentry's ready. He can force field. Ideally, he wants to sidestep this army. Ideally, he'd want to catch a marauder. And Bjarni just saw the sentry. He knows. Behind this, Bjarni is getting a gas geyser, which means he plans on going for the factory follow-up into Cyclone, I would imagine. Yeah, he's floating. So he's planning the transition. There's that factory. Into Cyclone. Meanwhile, Hero going for the Stargate. We'll see how this lines up here. I believe this should be Stargate into Oracle to harass across the map. The Void Ray. Okay, never mind. Oh, but he's supply block. He's supply block. No. Yeah, everything's going to be depowered. Massive pickup. Void Ray is heavily delayed due to the supply block. And with killing the pilot, he's still supply block, by the way. Yeah, massive supply block on the Stargate. He just wants the Void Ray. Ay. Yeah, insane supply block. Throwing down 2 more pylons. Cybercore is going to go down. And this is giving so much time for the tech lab back at home. Remember, factory into tech lab. What I was going to say initially was that if we could make the Oracle in time to harass across the map before the Cyclone pops out. But, I mean, due to the heavy supply block and due to the Void Ray as well, Hero's just stuck at home. Like, he was stuck at home that much longer. He was punished. Cybercore went down. Now he's breaking out, breaking the contain. Cyclones in production. That's the anti-air. Here comes Macfil accelerators as well. I believe typically Beyond goes up to 2, maybe 3 Cyclones at most. This is not mech. I should emphasize this is not mech. The reason why you need Macfil accelerators is because all your production's in the air, right? The Rax is burning down. The second Rax is also in the air as well. You have no production for an army. You can't make Marines or Marauders, so you need to bolster your Cyclones. Otherwise, you have just such a weaker defense back at home. You need it to build up into the mid game, into the early game even. Just because your production's so limited. Hero moves out, he's got his Void Ray. Oracle's on the way as well. And can Hero break through? Second Cyclone's in production. Does catch one of the Zealots. The Oracle does sit by. But the Viking though. Yeah, Vikings in position, zones away the Oracle. Oh, Cyclone overextended. Is that that was the Cyclone? That should not have happened. That should not have happened. That was miscontrol out of Bjorn. Lost one of the Cyclones. There's one Cyclone left. But there are Vikings. And Hero backs off. Hero backs off, he expands. It's a very messy early game. And where exactly are we in the economy here? So Hero's on 2 bases, he's getting up to 2 base saturation, so is Bjorn. I would give the edge to Bjorn currently, at least until the 3rd base kicks in, and that is an early 3rd CC out of Bjorn. Okay. So Bjorn's building up into the mid game. After a very chaotic start, we're calming down, we're stabilizing, getting into the mid game. Calming down, we're settling in. From here comes the breakouts. Catching at the Oracle. Stasis goes off, but again, better that the Oracle did go down for Bjorn. And Bjorn shouldn't be pushing. Remember, Bjorn is expanding. He's getting a third. So he's going to be calming down, defending back at home, expanding, claiming his third expansion. Hero going to additional Phoenixes. Interesting. With this hero, he can harass, he can try to contain Bjorn and slow the game down as you go. Phoenix Colossus. Okay. It's just been a very shaky early and mid game. Very, very shaky, but we're getting there. It's a very awkward game state. Now the question becomes, does Bjorn try to move out with Stim? Does he try to move out as he expands, or does he just turtle up back at home? We are in Winter Madness, and this map, it is easier to turtle up on 4 bases. That is true. So if we wanted to, we could try to slow the game down into a long late game once again. At this point, it might be the case, especially due to the Phoenixes, if Bjorn recognizes that he cannot actually move out across the map, then he will have to turtle. Because Hero is starting to get out of hand here. 4th base is now on the way. Hero's economy is ramping up. And if we can't do anything about this, then we have to be hyper defensive. Bjorn is set up on the high ground. He does go for the push, okay. Phoenix is a distract. Bjorn spots the Zealots. Hero pulls away at the same time. Hero does hit the mineral line and catching a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SCVs. He's limited, of course, by the energy. 3 SCV kills. Only 3. Does race back home. He has, I want to say, 1, maybe 2 lifts in these Phoenixes. Colossus is on the way. He's got 1 Colossus. He has 1. Can he get on top of the tanks? Oh, tanks, they pull away. They pull away in time. They will siege. Yeah, tanks, they siege up. Bjorn pushing forward. Here trying to catch reinforcements. There are none. Okay, there's no pressure here on Hero. He can just keep warping in. Tanks are now starting to get within range. Nice, catching the Observer. Here come the reinforcements. Bjorn's coming. Bjorn is coming. And here he's got 1 fight in him. Phoenix is catching out the reinforcements. Okay, limited anti-air. Very limited. Marines, they race back. They catch out one of the Phoenixes. He gets 1, he gets 2. Massive pickups. 2 Phoenixes go down. Here he goes to the dive. He tries to rush in, he gets 1 tank, and he should barely get the other. Yeah, 2 tanks go down. He's got his 2 Colossi, the army's overstimmed, and Hero holds. Yeah, here he's barely holding on here. Cleans up the minefield, cleans up the tanks. And what's scary is that Hero, he maintained the economy, didn't lose a single probe. His economy was left untouched, didn't lose any workers. Here he is able to retain his Colossus count, and now getting it to 3. Getting it to 3 Colossi. Hero's getting out of hand. Bjorn's in trouble. Bjorn does run his 4CC on location. Bold move. Very bold. Does Hero check? Does he scout? Now here he's waiting for his War Prism, then he can reinforce. 5th base on the way. Here he's taking over the map. And again, if Bjorn had decided earlier to just turtle up and get a 4th base, then, I mean, Bjorn, he could pull that off. But after losing his Widow Mines and tanks, now Bjorn is vulnerable, right? Bjorn, he's trying to get a 4th base, but the likelihood of him surviving and defending the 4th base is much lower this time. Assuming that Hero scouts. If he sees his 4th, he should push, he should pressure it, but alas, he's unaware. Now diving the main army, get some medevac, get some rotor. Key pickoffs. Hero rotating over. Once again, he is yet to confirm the 4th. Does he check? He may just move in. And may just push forward. Wooden mine goes down. Again, there's no mines or tanks behind this, but there is a nice Sim City. Very nice Sim City here. And the planetary is on the way. It's halfway done. No shot. This is such a big risk, such a big gamble out of Beyond, and it's kind of paying off, assuming he survives this. Hero's maxed. Hero's maxed out. Disruptors are on the way. Hero's working on that wall. Does get a depot. Hero now he scouts. Now he knows. Yeah, now he knows. Now he's aware. DPS being spent on the planetary. Planetary helping, actually. Yeah, it does help out. Here he rotates, he knocks down the base. Yeah, planetary will go down. Nice save. Nice juggling. And again, it was a big risk, a big gamble. In the end, didn't pay off. Did not pay off. Beyond is contained on 3 bases. That's all that matters. Beyond's on 3 bases as opposed to the 5 base economy here of Hero with a high yield gas. The high yield gas geyser. Maybe they do pop up. From here, he collapses in. Yeah, collapsing on the army here, and he's just going for the kill, going for the throw. The Colossus are being focused down. There is one disruptor behind this. Jolts it over. There he goes up. Up. Oh god, massive connection despite the split spot. Yay. Looks like Beyond is barely going to hold it on here. He lands the Vikings, but at what cost? At the cost of 13 SCVs. 13 SCV kills. He lost so many SCVs in the process. Oh, he even landed. Oh, lifted the natural. A bit of a mistake here. Beyond is panicking. Zealots, they trade against the Zealots. They trade against the Vikings. So many Vikings go down and getting 5, 6, 7 Vikings. Crazy damage. And crazy value here out of Hero. Here he just keeps warping in. Just keeps warping in. He just keeps pushing. Here he knows how close he is to breaking Beyond. He's close. He has. At this point, he has broken him. The Nova, ooh, a little bit messy. A little bit messy with the Nova. But GG gets called. GG gets called. Hero overwhelms, and Hero will claim the series 3-2, becoming the Kung Fu Cup week number 7 champion. GG. GG, well played. A chaotic back and forth. Once again, the first 2 games were a little more macro oriented, and then game 3, 4, 5, hyper aggression from both players. Did not get into the mid game too much. Here we did, in a sense, stabilize, but Hero, he had momentum, he had map control, he pushed across the map. A lot of this came down to Beyond's push, his tank push, I mean. When he moved across the map with his tanks, he was very committed, very dedicated. The Phoenixes did a great job at delaying, at buying time and delaying the reinforcements, and that gave the opportunity for Hero to collapse on the tanks. And the moment those tanks went down, the moment the Winter Mines went down, then Beyond, he lost map control. He had a weaker defense as well. Beyond went for a big risk going for the 4th expansion and morphing it into the planetary. He almost got away with it, but it got scattered. Got seen, and with that, Hero shut it down, and Beyond could not defend. He could not maintain his bases. GG, well played. Whew, just too far behind after losing his initial factory-based army, his initial tanks and mines. Never quite recovered after that. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Hero as he does claim the series. A shout out to Beyond for forcing the ace match and for going the distance here. This could have gone either way, and does in the end go the way of Hero. GG, well played. But yeah, again, impressive play here by Beyond. Impressive play. Whew, as we're finally able to wrap up and catch up with the Kung Fu Cup finals. Now I can start to splice together the VOD and schedule that on YouTube, of course. Otherwise, it's been a really intense day. Like, I was not expecting to wake up to patch notes. We mentioned this earlier, but for those who are unaware, for those who haven't been looking at social media, I was made aware a couple of weeks ago that a patch was in the works, and I was waiting to see how that would unfold. I didn't know what was going to be in it outside of obviously the the change to the high yield gas geysers. I know that that was an important change just to give a little bit more freedom to map makers, essentially, as the high yield gas bases are now a little bit less impactful, a little bit less influential. So now they can be a little bit more they have a little bit more freedom in terms of map making, which is always a good thing. But outside of that, I was pretty certain that certain matchups would be adjusted, and we'll discuss it a little bit more later on. We are planning to have an impromptu podcast later on tonight. That'll be in around 8 hours. In around 8 hours time, we should be live, or really 7 hours time. In around 7 hours, we're going to be live with the podcast to go into further detail in regards to the new PTR that has been announced. Obviously, it's a PTR and it is subject to change, but I look forward to it nonetheless. I look forward to it. I'm tempted to maybe dive into the PTR a little bit and play some games. Obviously, it's less than ideal from Australia. For those who don't know, the public test realm is its own server, its own like side client. And because of that, it doesn't have like the Brazilian server or the European server. I think there's only one, maybe there's two servers within the PTR, and I think it's like US West and US Central. I think, like, I'd have to double check, but there's no like regions in the PTR. It's just one public test realm. So because of that, we're gonna have to play with very high ping if you play on it, which would not be ideal. But there's a lot of changes coming, and I look forward to seeing it for sure. There's definitely a lot to discuss when it comes to the intricacies and details of the proposed changes, and we'll be discussing that in 7 hours time. 7 hours time, podcast. We got you. For those who don't know, we do host a weekly talk show, a weekly podcast even, where we discuss all things StarCraft and all StarCraft news. But we feel like it's worth, you know, discussing it now instead of next week, because we already had this week's podcast, so we'd have to wait an entire week before we can talk about it. Probably worth discussing it now more than anything. So 7 hours time, we got you covered. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Bam, when it comes to the rest of our weekly schedule, we got you covered in terms of StarCraft. As always, as you can see here, the plan was just to have the one cast Friday and have the evening off. So you can see we just finished up the Code for Giants Cup this morning, Friday morning, and we're going to have this evening off. And to be fair, when it comes to the podcast, we're only going to discuss the patch, so it should be a shorter cast and a shorter stream, and we should for the most part have the evening off. Tomorrow and on Sunday, so Saturday, Sunday over the weekend, we have GSL and RSL casts. If you remember, we live cast GSL on Soup, but we are going to have the VOD rebroadcasted on Twitch and YouTube. That is going to be over the weekend. Meanwhile, we have RSL. That's going to be the co-stream. The season finals are this weekend as well. We'll be all over that, all over GSL and RSL this weekend. So a lot of content, a lot of StarCraft as always. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Thank you. I still feel in the chat. Gracias. Less than 3. We appreciate it. Otherwise, we are going to be wrapping up here for the morning, and we'll see you guys this evening in around 7 hours to discuss the patch. Otherwise, we'll see you over the weekend for GSL and RSL. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Until then, ciao, bye, ciao, hasta luego.